One of the things that people tell me about reward-based training is, I don't want to use treats because I want my dog to listen without them. Or, my dog only listens if I have treats. So let's talk about the proper use of treats so that you don't have those struggles. This will have a huge impact on your dog's ability to listen and to respond, even without obvious rewards available. I'm also going to show you how we very quickly turn those struggles around. First, I want you to know that I train my dogs with a lot of different rewards. I definitely use treats and food rewards in training, but I also use toy rewards. I even use a spray bottle with water. Who loves these things? And still, my dogs listen and respond without bribing them with the food or the toys or the spray bottle. Now, it's not because my dogs are special other than in my heart, and it's not because I'm a dog trainer. It's because I'm super careful with one critical detail when teaching behaviors. If your dog currently needs you to show them the treat in order to get the behavior, then you definitely missed this one critical detail. And to be honest with you, you're probably completely unaware of your misunderstanding. Super quick, let's talk about the order of events that your dog needs to be successful. This is called the ABCs of learning. When your dog learns a behavior, there are 3 parts to each behavior. The first is the A, the antecedent. That's the thing that comes before the behavior, the cue or your command. So you say sit, or you say come, or you say down. Now B is the behavior itself, the dog sitting or coming to you or laying down. The C is the consequence, which for reward-based training is the reward. ABC, antecedent or your cue, behavior, consequence. Now here's the mistake you probably have no idea that you're making, and almost everyone makes this mistake. They make the reward part of the antecedent, part of the cue. They have the cookie in their hand, or their hand's going into the cookie jar, or they're moving to get the cookie as they cue the behavior. Holding the cookie in your hand, especially if it's obvious, right? Your hand going into the cookie jar, or you moving to get the cookie becomes a part of what cues your dog to do the behavior. It's a part of the picture that tells your dog what to do. So when you don't have a cookie, your dog has no idea what they're supposed to do, because this looks completely different than the picture that you previously showed your dog that represents the cue. We're really confusing them. They think us holding the cookie is a part of the cue. If your dog needs to see the treat to do the behavior, it's because you made the treat a part of the cue. It doesn't matter what behavior it is, but no worries, because we can fix this. Remember, the treat is the consequence. It happens after the dog has performed the correct behavior. And that includes putting the treat in your hand. Your dog's not being stubborn, and it's not a problem with reward-based training. It's just a little change that we need to make in the order of events. All right, if you have a dog that only listens when you have a treat in your hand, and you have to lure and you have to bribe them to get them to do the behavior, here's what we're going to do to change it up. Step 1 of the process does involve having the lure in your hand. So I have some treats in my hand, and I'm going to lure my behavior. That might be a sit. She does the behavior, I feed. She does it again, I feed. She does it again, or it might be a down for your dog. Doesn't matter what the behavior is. There you go. Good girl, release. Good. You lure the behavior. And this is why people have the assumption that that food needs to be in your hand, because you have it in your hand for stage 1. But stage 2 is where you put in a hand signal. Release. Good girl. So, no food in my hands. They're empty. I'm going to get her up. I'm going to get the behavior with my hand doing exactly the same thing that it previously had. Then I'm going to reach for the cookie and give that reward. Hand signal, then reach for the cookie and give the reward. Hand signal, reach for the cookie, and then give the reward. So right now the hand signal is my A. It's the antecedent. It's the cue. Good girl. Her sitting is the behavior, And see, the consequence is me reaching for the cookie and then giving her that cookie. So reaching for the cookie is part of the reward process. Now, once that's super easy, then you can go to stage 3, which is you're going to give your verbal cue and then your hand signal to help your dog if it doesn't respond. Your dog doesn't know the verbal cue without the hand signal. So it's verbal first, then hand signal. Now, Huli knows her sit and her down cues. So I'm going to use the word Filbert to indicate that I want her to lay down, a word that she's never heard before. I'll show you. Filbert. So she thinks it's sitting. It's not. I'm going to have this word be laying down. Okay, so it's going to be verbal, then hand signal. Filbert. Nice. Good girl. Then I get my reward. And I reward my dog. Good girl. Filbert. Nice. And I reward. Good girl. Filbert. Nice. And very quickly, you can see she's starting to respond to that verbal cue because I'm not confusing her. Good girl, release. So in step 4, they start responding to your verbal cue and you don't need to help them at all. Okay, now step 5 is where you actually remove the food from your body. This is important. This is a step that most people leave out. So I'm going to take my piece of food and I'm going to stick it up here on the tree. Okay, now I'm going to give my cue. Filbert. Nice. And I'm going to go get that food and I'm going to deliver it to her. Release, honey. So within a couple of repetitions, Huli started learning this new word. Filbert means to lie down. And then I took her to the point where she could do that behavior and the food's not even on me. It's over on the tree and she still does the behavior. Now, I want to give you a little hint because probably one of the most important things that's going on here is you don't even realize that you have the food in your hand or that you're reaching into the cookie jar too early or that you're moving while you give that cue. So what I want you to do is something very constructive with the cookie hand. That might be you just, grab onto your shirt tail, you're holding onto the seam of it, you're doing something constructive with that hand in order to make it so that it's not moving, it's not doing all the naughty things on you. Okay, so you can see how quickly Huli caught on. She's never heard the word before. This is how quickly they learn. So if you have the correct order of events, Huli, Filbert, good. Then you get your reward and you reward your dog. This is how you transition away from having to show the dog the cookie to get the correct response. Step 1, lure, no verbal cue. Lure, no verbal cue. Step 2, hand signal. No food in my hand. Step 3, you put in your verbal cue. Sit. Dog does the behavior, then your hand gets the food and you reward your dog. Step 5, you move the rewards away from yourself. So we're going to put it up here in the tree. Good girl, right over here. Sit. Nice. And so then you have a dog that's responding to your verbal cue, even though you don't have your rewards on you. Release. It's the same thing with a toy. So it might be in the beginning, I use a toy to lure my dog. Yeah, good girl. Yeah, so getting her to spin in a circle. And then it would be, thanks, honey. The toy's not visible, so I'm putting it behind me. I'm tucking it into a pocket. Hand signal, yeah, good girl. Yes. And then, can she do it for the verbal cue? Thanks, honey. Left, strike, good girl, yes, good girl, all right. So she's doing it for the verbal cue and then I can move it off my body, thanks. Here we go. Left, strike, yeah, good girl, good girl. The key is the behavior comes first and then you get the reward and you give your dog the reward. After stage 1, the rewards are never in your hand before you get the behavior. Yay, that's it. You never have to worry again about your dog not listening unless you show them the cookie. Because now you understand this was just a mistake on when you put the cookie in your hand. Bye.